What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. I can't go too long, like at any point in time of playing Yu-Gi-Oh without checking back in with Dark Magician just every once in a while. I've been stewing on this for like a long time. Like, how can you make Dark Magician more playable? There's just so much main deck support, but it just branches off in so many different directions. So there's so much that you can do with it, and it's kind of splashable. And I think I found the perfect home for it. So there's a lot of things that are important to know about Dark Magician, right? You need to get it in the graveyard ASAP. That is like the first thing that you need to know about Dark Magician, right? You need a copy of it. Hand is okay, but more importantly in the graveyard because of cards like Soul Servant. Well, I figured, okay, Branded Fusion can send Dark Magician. Also, Fallen of Albaz is a dragon monster, which also has a very important kind of synergy with the deck. So you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll see how it ends up working out. And obviously, like Dark Magician fits the bill for like the best virus cards, which is great. So this is cool. So I can go ahead and send, Fallen of Albaz and Dark Magician to summon Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. Yep, Dark Magician plus a dragon monster. Fallen of Albaz fits that bill. Also, it counts as Dark Magician, so I get a free draw out of this. I draw into Magician's Rod, so I can get Circle, and then Circle finds me, Magician's Salvation. So this is actually really cool. It's cooler than you might think. So, during my opponent's turn, he can't, Lightning Storm my back row or anything like that. And if he tried to Lightning Storm, like, Dark Magician and Dragon Knight, I could also just chain Eternal Soul and, like, nothing would happen, because it becomes unaffected by card effects. But here's what ends up happening. So, during my opponent's draw phase, probably I'll go ahead and use Epidemic Virus to take a look at my opponent's hand calling spells, I would say on average, so I can get all my opponent's hand knowledge, which is always a good thing. This is sometimes deck Devastation Virus, so I would probably Virus, go ahead, look at my opponent's hand, look at all their spells. So that, again, this counts as Dark Magician, so I can bring this back for a banishment, and then when this comes back again, I can do Full Force Virus, Deck Devastation Virus, whatever you like, insert card name here. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. I'm going to be able to banish a card my opponent controls, get rid of all their spells in their hand, and get rid of all monsters with 2,000 or less defense, 1,500 or more attack, Crush Card Virus, whatever you feel is the best. Deck Devastation Virus is actually probably the best because it hits Mathmex, Marincess. Marincess is really good. Splite or Sprite, whatever you want to call it, hits all of their main deck monsters. So Deck Devastation Virus is good against like the top 4 decks of the format. So I figure that's probably a good one. I was just testing around for this. So let's take a look at another kind of combo that you can do, which is really cool because, Lubellion has to discard a card, but if you can discard Soul Servant, man, that's just really good. Magician's Rod, sometimes you do have, like, this is like the most awkward part. You kind of just have these things hanging around. But this is awesome. So I sent, Dark Magician Girl first, and then, Branded Fusion can send Dark Magician. I discarded Soul Servant, so yes, I just get a Pot of Greed out of this. I end up drawing into Epidemic Virus, and I also draw into a combination. So everything is in place now. So I'm going to be able to banish a card during my opponent's turn. This is an Omni Negate, which is great. This is a good reason to play Dark Magician Girl. And then Epidemic Virus also. So, and I get a banishment with Ice Jade. Or Ice Blade? Or Mirror Jade. I keep saying a lot of things. But Mirror Jade pop, I can banish a card, targeting banishment for any card, which is always like the good thing about these too. It's like you don't just have to banish a monster, you can banish a face down card or anything like that. Also, it plays around Mystic Mine, obviously, very, very well. This is like the best deck against Mystic Mine. And Magician's Combination, again, like as an Omni Negate, and again, I get to destroy all my opponent's spells in their hand. Just right off the bat, which is great. Okay, so we can keep going here, and at the end I have a couple more replay videos. You can play something like Pot of Extravagance. Skill Drain's always good in Dark Magician's deck. You just get to play really high-impact cards. I mean, that's the entire idea behind the deck, like, just in general. Another great thing is that you get to deal with so much before you, like, need to use Dark Magical Circle. Like, you're going to go through a lot of cards. You have a very high chance of hitting on this. So, again, I can do Mirror Jade, search something like Combination. I don't know if I had all Vine cards in rotation. Although, yes, I did, right? Magician Souls, plus, you know, the branded fusion, which is always great. Plus skill drain. It's a pretty good end board. It's pretty good end board. As long as your opponent doesn't have, like, the first thing they do isn't, like, Lightning Storm or something. That would obviously be very unfortunate. But at least you have the Omni Negate, so maybe you would, like, have it on board. Okay. Soul Servant can go ahead. I can do Bond, which is always really nice. So obviously this lets me, you know, quick effect, destroy all my opponent's cards. And then you can do something like Dark. So this is actually a really unique end board. So this is search. This searches if my opponent gets rid of it, right? It's destroyed by battle or card effect, which is awesome. So I have Eternal Soul, which is great. So I have a Banishment. I can destroy all cards my opponent controls, and then I can still do Magician's Combination. So these are actually all live. So this thing switches them out. So you would think, oh, I'm not going to be able to use Dark Burning. You know, I can just, for whatever Omni Negate I end up using, I'm only going to have one on the field. But this actually, as soon as one is brought out, it special summons the other one, which is awesome. So like I can use like Eternal Soul, banish a card, destroy all my opponent's cards. You know what I mean? Whatever the order ends up being. But these are actually all live. Because these switch out, this special summons back, and this brings back Dark Magician. So if I play my cards right, quite literally play my cards right, I can use all my interactions, which are all like really good, right? And Omni Negate's super good. Destroying all cards my opponent controls is like very, very good. It's like a Raigeki for everything. And then banishing card is great, plus follow-up. All right, so here's a couple of duels. I think I have 3, actually. So I figured I'm going second. I'm like, oh, like I'm just going to lose. We'll go to game, 2 and see what happens. But you never want to quit before your opponent actually plays. So we'll see what it ends up doing. It's Prediction Princess. I remember going over this support, which is pretty wild. So we get to bring out a ritual. This is also a ritual flip. So this is going to flip up, and then this is also going to do something. It brings out a flip from the deck. It's Guard Dog. So when it's flipped, your opponent can't special summon for the rest of the turn. And he's going to be able to quick effect. So basically just locking me out of special summoning for the turn, which you'd think would be game ending, but against Dark Magician, it's actually not so bad. So Eternal Soul can go ahead. I'm going to be able to search 2 Dark Magician. And I can set Eternal Soul, combination. I can send Dark Magician Girl. So my Omni Negate is now online. All of that during my opponent's turn when I couldn't special summon at all, which is pretty impressive. So I'm going to go ahead and banish this Manju. That way he can't search a ritual monster or ritual spell, Appaloosa, but it's not actually that important. I don't really activate monster effects in this. So I'm getting my Omni Negate prepared because I don't think you can do it in the same chain. Because otherwise it would, this would be what was chained, I think. I'm not sure though. I'm pretty sure maybe you can. The only thing I know is that that Scare Claw trap that kind of does the same thing has to be activated first. But in any case, top decking Dark Magician is definitely a bit unfortunate, but what are you going to do? So I can go ahead and bring this out. Appaloosa can go ahead and get banished. Yeah, so he did try to change the flip, so I just had to wait. Activate Eternal Soul. That way I can special summon at least one time and didn't get rid of something. And then I can draw 2 cards. I stacked Bond between teacher and student just in case I could get the Dark Magician Girl on the field. Because the Guard Dog isn't there anymore, obviously. And I can activate it during main phase 1, so if he doesn't, bring this out. Because I don't think... Is it during... No, okay. He could definitely still do it, but that's fine. So I can go ahead and tribute the Magician's Rod, grab Magician's Rod to search. He does try to, destroy everything there with Lightning Storm. I go ahead and negate that. And then thus my loop is now very close to being completed. So my quick effect Raigeki is will be online next turn. I just couldn't believe I won that duel. It just seems like I had no chance. The circumstances were not good. So this is game. Obviously, you can see Epidemic virus there. I'm going to be able to get both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl into the graveyard. I can, send Cosmic. It's just kind of an extra card there. Go into Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Again, my loop is still live, and this is, it's so good. So I can just, basically get rid of all the cards in my opponent's hand and then still be able to bring it back because that always counts as Dark Magician. And then last is this random deck. Deck Devastation Virus ended up not being very good against this one. If I had the setup, I definitely would have used it, and I could have gotten rid of 2 cards in his hand. Like, main deck monsters usually just don't have that much attack, so it's like almost better than Crush Card Virus in like every conceivable way. Yeah, Pot of Extravagance into extra copy of Deck Devastation Virus and Dark Magician. Go figure. Did not want that Diviner to go through, obviously. He could have done a lot with it. I top deck Magician's Rod, so really just like not drawing very well because, you know, the idea is that you want to use this first and then flip Skill Drain. You don't really need it for the rest of the duel. So I'm going to go ahead and set this, kind of protect my life points a little bit. I don't want to attack over it in case he had Lightning Storm because I think he made me go first. So I figured like he definitely has a chance to draw into it. Nightmare Phoenix doesn't do anything. You know, Skill Drain's a good card, obviously. Definitely has its uses. So then I can just start, you know, this card is so good. I hope it gets like a common reprint. It's still kind of pricey. And then, you know, my opponent's going to lose all of his spell cards after I attack there. No Eternal Soul, you know, in rotation, unfortunately. But, you know, I think I'll survive. Because I can just every single turn just keep using Illusion of Chaos and just keep bringing out a Dark Magician. Which is kind of hilarious. And then he does activate Droll. Doesn't really matter. I wasn't going to search anything. It's not like I can for the rest of the turn. And then he is on a 2-turn clock at this point. He does have 2 Kaijus, but yeah, that doesn't really do anything, right? Illusion of Chaos in hand. Search Souls. Send Dark Magician. Which is pretty funny. Yeah, like any normal summon would have killed him, but it did end up getting Branded Fusion. Which just puts a body on board. That's all I really needed it to do. And then Deck Devastation Virus, which is cool, would have been online as well. So yeah, that's a Dark Magician right now. I'm probably going to do like an in-depth deck profile, but I thought those combos and those gameplay videos were pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.